Good evening. I've been trying to get this message since this morning on Facebook, and for some reason it's not happening. So I'm going to try while I'm driving. Today we're talking about carrying baggage. And if you get a chance, stop and read Philippians 3:13. It talks about forgetting about the past and pressing towards the present and the future. Anyway, this morning on my way to work, my mind was in 1,000 different places and I couldn't understand why. And I was analyzing and asking God, what's going on? Show me, talk to me. Because I've been listening to sermons, I've been studying, I've been praying. Talk to me, God. Because you have me in a process, and there's a reason you have me in a process. So he made me understand. And what is for me, it may be for y'all too. I know I'm not the only one going through this. Many times we carry baggage. And that baggage gets in the way of our relationships with God, our family, and our husbands, our men, however you want to put it, because we carry past baggage. And see, lately God has had me calling people and apologizing, and people that I couldn't get a hold of, getting on my knees and still praying for them. And I couldn't understand why. See, I know that in order to be forgiven, you must forgive. I understand that, but it's actually much deeper than that. See, the problem is that while we're forgiving others and letting go, we're letting go of things that are hindering us from reaching our next level. See, as long as we hold on to anything from the past, we allow it to control our lives. Example, many of us leave church. We go through things in church and we leave church and we join a new church because this and this happened at that last church. But we hold on to what happened at that last church and hold it against the new church, the new congregation, which isn't fair to them. We look at the pastor sideways for something another pastor did. We look at the congregations as though they're all hypocrites because of something we experienced. But I just want a question for you today. How about if God was to judge you for what somebody else did? How about if God was to look upon you as he looked upon for what somebody else did? You wouldn't like that. It wouldn't be fair, would it? So when we enter congregations, when we enter churches, we need to let go of our past. We need to ask God to cleanse us. We need to forgive those who have done us wrong. And we need to keep going and pressing forward to see God's glory. See, we're letting go of baggage when we sit there and we forgive. We're no longer holding on and having something hinder us from seeing his glory, because we're letting it go. And now we can teach someone else who is going through it what we've been through. People make mistakes, and it is our job to forgive them. Sometimes those wounds cut deeply, and that's when you have to go into fasting and prayer so that God can remove that out of you. Because see, in order to make it to heaven, you have to let go of all that strife, anger, all of that, because that is not of God. God is holy. Now, let's take it to our relationships. Many of us, I want to say majority of us, still are connected to someone we had relations with. See, when a man enters you, he deposits. You become one. The Bible lets you know, and you become one. You marry this man through flesh, through spirit. Maybe not by paper, but once you laid down with him, you took on everything that he had. So, with that being said, how many of y'all have let go, have released those pasts? How many of y'all go home and are unhappy even though your man is beautiful and wonderful in every way, but there's still something wrong? You always find something wrong, or you're sitting there thinking about your past relationships or what went wrong. You're holding on to that past. You are somehow still bound to that relationship. And there is never going to be a happy relationship there unless you give your husband your all, everything. So that means you have to divorce all those spirits you have within you, which is you have to go before God and ask God to cleanse you of those things, to remove those things. See, we leave relationships and sometimes don't think about that, and we enter new relationships still carrying the baggage from the old relationship, not healing from the old relationship, and holding against this man what the past has done to you. This goes with family too. How many of y'all can't love your family correctly, unconditionally, because something has happened in your family? Why are you holding on to that baggage? Let it go. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to God. Listen, we go through things so that God can purify us, so he can press and pull and move, so that he can shine us, so we can become that diamond or that pearl, however you want to look at it, that God is pressing us to become. We go through things so that we can get into a higher spiritual level. But many of us get stuck and don't know how to ask God to remove us, give us strength, and push us back forward. See, I don't know about you, but I know there are many things in my life that I held on to. So how did I expect to see God's glory and expect to get any closer to him if I was hindering myself? You could never be fully happy. You will always think about your past till you ask God to purify you from your past, to ask God to help you, ask God to glorify himself in your life so that you can set an example. See, God took me to Proverbs 31. How can I be that virtuous woman, that virtuous wife that I want to be one day, or virtuous mother, if I'm not studying and praying over my family completely? See, we need to pray over our men. We need to cover them in the blood of Jesus. Whether they be saved or not, it is our job to pray over them. We are to act meek and humble around them and show them God's love. Because see, if they don't believe, this is going to bring them to seek God, because it is said in the Bible. So if the Bible says it, then I know it's 100% true. How can we expect things to change in our household when we stay in bed, we slumber, we don't get awake, we don't awaken in the midst of the night to pray over our families? We don't get up and get that house together and get it right for our families. I know that we sit there and we work, and yes, relationships is a 50-50 thing, but at the same token and aspect, we are the woman of the house. So when our husband, our man comes home, it is to have it clean. You get off of work before him, clean it, cook. Study with him, pray with him. And if, like I said, if he's not a believing man, pray for him. Same thing with our children. Instead of being angry all the time, and as I've seen many people cuss at them and fuss at them, try to understand where they're coming. Not saying to spare the rod, because at times you have to give it. But what I'm saying is, don't give them that angriness that you have stored up inside of you. It's all baggage, and it's not fair to them. Why are you giving to them the baggage that you carry? There are generational curses that we must pray over, that is over our family. We must pray to unbind, to loosen each and every one of our family members from that generational curse, to stop it, to stop the devil in his tracks and his operations in his tracks. For you non-believers that are listening today, not everybody in the church is hypocrites, okay? And many of y'all are carrying baggages yourself. Many of y'all are hurt and don't know how to let go. But I'm going to tell you today that the only person that can help you let go is God. That's the only way to let go. So I invite you to come to church, wherever the church may be. If it is spirit-led, you will be healed. If you allow God in to heal, you will be healed. Remember, not all churches are spirit-led. So ask God where he wants you. Ladies, let's look at our baggage. Let's look in the mirror. Let's see what's holding on to us. What's hindering us? For those that are single, what do you have to bring to the table? Everybody wants a good man, but what do you have to bring to the table? Check yourself. Are you behind in debt? Are you full of anger? What are you bringing to the table? Or are you a virtuous woman that are ready to help this man build his empire? I'm just curious. See, we have to be smart. We have to think and ask God for guidance in everything we do so that everything can come out good. Because see, as long as God is in the midst of this situation, it shall be good. So tonight, or whenever you hear this message, when you get a chance, think about what's hindering, what's hurting you. What baggage are you holding on to that you need to let go so that you can be free and be happy? Y'all have a blessed night. God bless y'all. Enjoy y'all night. And don't take this as though I'm being smart. I'm just giving you what God has given me, because there's a lot of areas in my life that I need to fix. There's things in my home I need to fix. There's things in my relationship I need to pray over. See, because I can't expect more out of my relationship if I can't put God first and everything in it. I can't expect beauty out of it if God's not in control of it. I'm not saying relationships don't go through up and down, because they do. And the devil's job is to try to destroy homes. But if you're a virtuous woman, a praying woman, your home will be fine. It will stand on top of that rock still, no matter what storms come your way. And ladies, once again, if you're single, ask God if the man you're seeing is what he wants for you. Because see, if you don't, you're going to be as I did. I didn't ask. I went forward because that was the relationship I was in. And I ended up divorced because it wasn't. I was unhappy. And that's where you don't want to be. Not everybody is equally yoked. Remember, God has somebody for everybody. So ask him. Ask him for guidance. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.